This is my audience this evening. All right, I've got another attentive dog over there. All right, perfect. Picture this. You're preparing dinner for your family on a cold winter night when all of a sudden your child comes up to you, tugs on your t-shirt, and asks you a very simple question. Is Santa Claus real? You have a choice to make. You can either succumb to the magic and whimsy and fall in line with everyone else in the world, or you can be the destroyer of childhood dreams by telling the truth. This is what my parents had to deal with, and I'm sure it wasn't easy as I had many questions. Initially, they chose to fall in line, but I badgered with questions like, how does he get around so fast? Who keeps track of the massive list, especially with our growing population? How does Santa Claus know what babies want? Why doesn't Santa ever give gifts to you, my parents? And why didn't my best friend also get a Nintendo when I know she's very good in school and at home? It just doesn't make sense. With so many questions, my parents eventually caved and told me the truth. That was before the age of the internet, and my parents always told me that facts matter and to believe in things that we could prove, that had data. Yet they forcefully told me a lie. This is why all parents should tell their kids the truth about Santa Claus. Santa Claus, aka Kris Kringle, Saint Nick, Father Christmas, or Sinterklaas, are all derived from a Greek bishop named Saint Nicholas. He was thought to be a very kind philanthropist who wore a red cape and had a red beard, and would essentially go around giving gifts to the poor and taking care of people that were not as fortunate as he was. In the 1920s, an illustrator for Harper's Magazine depicted Santa as a portly man with spectacles. He also had a red suit. But it wasn't until the 1930s when Coca-Cola's illustrator gave us the portly man with the spectacles, rosy cheeks, red suit, and white trim that we know of today. So that tradition has stood long and true. With the growth of the U.S. economy after the Great Depression, people began to cling to the myth, not only as the embodiment of Christmas and the Christmas spirit, but also as a sign of prosperity and joy. The results of a survey on Statista.com conclude that in 2017, the average amount of money spent per child during the holiday season is $906. The pressure that many parents face when trying to fulfill wish lists on an entire person can either be empowering or downright crushing. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, we know that the median household income is $59,039. If we compare that to the average amount of money spent, $906, we understand that that's 1.5% of the total median household income. And that's assuming the household does not need additional funds in order to provide items that are not essential for basic survival. That's food, shelter, and clothing. Imagine the stress of trying to choose between filling your kid's wish list and paying the bills, keeping the lights on. Eventually, the day of reckoning comes sooner than we think, much too soon as it did for my parents. With the age of Google, smartphone, Snopes, and general fact-checking, a child can receive answers to questions faster than we can make them up. By and large, we encourage our youth to be truth-tellers and truth-seekers, yet we overlook the implications of the white lie to preserve the innocence of children. But to what end? In an interview for HappyFamily.com, parents recount a tale about a child who was terrified of St. Nicholas. All her life she had been told by her parents not to trust strangers, yet she was led to believe that her parents would willingly let a stranger come into their house once a year. That idea terrified her so much that she refused to go to sleep on Christmas Eve. So what did her parents do? Well, they had to make a lie upon a lie, and they transformed the story and the figure of Saint Nick into a bunny, a much less threatening character. This lack of truth can cause a child to realize the mortalization of their parent, and they won't have that superhero effect anymore, much sooner than you would normally get if you waited until adolescence. In conclusion, there are many ways to tell a child about Santa without lying and without destroying the spirit of Christmas. Think about all of the children who don't share the same faith. Around that same time of year, aren't they also encouraged to hold the same truths that St. Nicholas stands for? Being kind, giving to those in need, not to pout, not to cry when things don't go our way, and to just be good for goodness sake. It is time for us all to get back to the sense of camaraderie and giving that Old Nick embodies. Thank you.